So in this question, we're looking to simplify triple brackets where you have three pairs of brackets that are all being multiplied together. The reason you know these are being multiplied together is because there is no sum or symbol in between these brackets. So if you can't see the sum, it is a multiple. So how do we do this? Well, let me take it back to an easier question in terms of a procedure for this. So if I gave you 2 times 3 times 5, so you get three numbers that are being multiplied together. What you would do naturally, say you were doing this without a calculator, is you would multiply together the first two numbers to give you an answer, and then you would multiply that answer by 5. What you wouldn't do is you wouldn't do 2 times 3 and then 2 times 5 to get 6 and 10, and then times them together or add them together or do something strange like that, right? So one of the mistakes that people make here is they start multiplying everything in one bracket with everything in the other, and they kind of go crazy like that. If you're doing that, you're basically doing like 2 times 3 and 2 times 5, which is not what we want. So what we do want is to multiply the first two terms together. Now it technically doesn't matter which two brackets you multiply together, but typically speaking, and this applies to other questions as well, I would just do the first two. Do the first two you see, so why not deal with them first before we start worrying about the x plus 4 here, right? So I go ahead and go through the process of multiplying these two together. This is what I'm going to get of x times x for x squared, x times minus 2 for minus 2x, x times 3 for plus 3x, and plus 3 times minus 2 for minus 6. That is technically in a bracket and will be afterwards getting multiplied by x plus 4. That's technically what's going on there. Of course, we would tidy up what's inside this red bracket because these two x terms in the middle can add together. So what we would have is the following before I even think about dealing with that x plus 4 bracket. So that'll be our first step, or second step, however you look at it. Now what we're going to do is multiply everything that's in the red bracket with everything that's in the blue bracket. Now how you do this, there's multiple methods. You've got grid method, you've got setting up like area. I just like to do what I call sort of rainbows, colored rainbows. I'm going to multiply this x squared term with the two terms in the other bracket, x and 4, and I'm showing that in green just now. That will give us x cubed plus 4x squared. I then pair up the x with the two terms in the other bracket, so I have an x times x for x squared and an x times 4 for 4x. And then last but not least, I would pair this minus 6 up with the two terms in the other bracket. Minus 6 times x being minus 6, and minus 6 times a positive 4 will give us a minus 24. So that's us fully expanded the triple brackets now. Just like we had when you broke out the double brackets, there's some tidying up to do. So here we're going to have our x squared terms. It just so happens that the order I've done it here works out quite nice. The x squared terms are beside each other here, so they simplify quite nicely. And then we have these two x terms here that will simplify quite nicely as well, with the x cubed at the start remaining the same, and our minus 24 at the end remaining the same. And that is how we break out triple brackets. Done.